today in my studio as per usual. But today we are jumping on with Aurelie Marin, and I'm really excited for this one because she's been a bit of a... I've been a bit of a fan of hers for a while. I don't know about you, but I get lost in her Procreate videos and all of the stuff that she puts out. She's just a lot amazing. But while we wait for her to join, I really want to thank you guys for being here, for turning up to my slice of advice. I'm also going to put in the comments about the easy as pie pricing, if it likes to. No, of course it's not going to. Okay, so I'm going to just talk about it. So if you haven't already joined my mailing list or seen in my stories and everything that I've been putting out there, I have currently got an easy as pie pricing, basically a downloadable that you can find out all about pricing, all about all the different ways that you can bake more profit into your crust, into your creative crust, and have a bit more of a slice of the pie. So today, Aurelie has just joined us, and so we're going to go live.
I'm getting used to this. This is my third live, and I'm very excited. Clearly. Hi, Aurelie.
Hello.
Hi.
Good. How are you?
I'm good. So happy Friday, because it's a good day to be a Friday. I don't know about you, but it has been a full-on week this week. Personally, for myself here, it's just been lots of different clients, lots of different firings. What about you?
Yeah, I've been pretty busy, but yeah, I still find the time to go surfing in the morning. So I went for a surf this morning.
Just what I thought.
I'm on the golf.
Any cooler.
So
That's
yeah,
awesome. I think that's probably a geographical hazard for you, in that if you live on the Gold Coast, you kind of have to know how to surf.
Yeah, I only just started learning. So yeah, I've been on the Gold Coast for 11 years now, and only just started this year. So
nice.
I think it was about time. Better late than never.
So I've kind of given them a little bit of an insight to you, but what I thought I would do is give you an opportunity to tell the audience who you are, what you do, bit of a brief Wikipedia page summary of yourself. So go.
Cool. All right. So I am, my name is Aurelie, and I'm a lettering artist based on the Gold Coast in Australia. So I started as a graphic designer, and I would say that until last year, I started doing lettering full time. So it's pretty new. But yeah, basically I started graphic design at university. After graduating, I got a job in an agency for about a year. And after that, I decided to go freelance and work for myself. So yeah, took the leap and decided to work for myself, which is kind of scary. But when you think of it, it's not that scary, keeping in mind that if you don't get work, you just go back to your previous job. So that was kind of my way of thinking. So it wasn't too bad after all. It was definitely a lot of work. So I've been doing freelance for about 7 years. It wasn't really freelance because it was actually a real business. I had a couple of people working with me as well. But yeah, it got quite hectic, and I started working a lot of hours, and I wasn't getting paid more. So yeah, I was doing something wrong. Yeah, I'm not an expert in pricing, but I have a little bit of experience. So I know that it's not about working more to make more money. It's about working more smart and pricing your work the right way. So I did that for about 7 years. And after COVID, of course, I kind of went through a phase where I didn't have that much work, that much client work. And and I kind of had to do something else, which I think was the best time to kind of shift and really work on what I love doing the most, which is hand lettering, custom logotypes, and teaching online, of course. So I slowly kind of pivoted, got less and less graphic design work, less client work, and kind of moved to doing my own thing. So yeah, I've been doing that for a year now, and I think this week is actually the first week since I finished uni that I do not have one single client job open. So, which means that, yeah, I am doing full-time lettering. So by lettering, I mean online courses, selling brushes, doing still custom logo types for clients and things like that. But I'm not doing any graphic design work, which is website design or business cards or poster, flyers, what I used to do, menus, all of that. Yeah. So yeah, first week, which is
that's
so
huge.
Cool. Yes,
congratulations. And that's like that's a major pivot and a major like if you are anything like the both of us, we went through high school, went through university or TAFE or whatever, and aimed to get out of that education to get into design and to work with clients. And now you're kind of come full circle, and it's like, okay, well, I don't have clients anymore and I'm still okay. So that's pretty exciting.
Yes, yeah, very exciting.
That's huge. I'm really, really proud of you.
I'm proud of me.
Yeah, awesome, wicked. So I really think that what you touched on a little bit with, you're not an expert in pricing, but the fact of the matter is you're someone who has, 11 years that you've been in Australia and 7 years you've been freelancing. So that's 7 years of experience of having the conversations around pricing and around money, because money is such a hard conversation to have, and
it's very taboo. I think. Yes,
it makes people uncomfortable. Excuse me. I feel like people shy away from the money conversation because they think if I don't talk about it, I won't feel bad about it and the badness will go away. But a lot of the time it just then ends up legitimately shortchanging us with how much we feel comfortable charging other people.
Yes.
So when you were doing client work, when you had client jobs coming in, how did you prefer to price your projects and why did you like to price them that way?
So I went for a lot of different methods. Of course, I tried everything. But
buffet,
I guess,
just like trying them all.
Yes. Well, the more I got, the more experience I got, I guess I kind of changed the way I was doing it. But I guess like most of us, I started by pricing by an hourly rate. So I was pretty much estimating, okay, this logo is going to take me, I don't know, maybe 4 hours. So I'm going to bill for 4. So, which is totally wrong. But at the start,
it's okay when you're starting out to do it that way, but not after a while.
Yes, exactly. So I learned from experience that this is not the right way of doing it. But yeah, I was just doing hourly based work. I also had a couple of retainer clients that were paying me a weekly fee. So I had, for example, a set amount of money per week. And I would say, okay, I will do maybe 20 hours of graphic design work for this company per week, which kind of felt nice at the start because you always had the money coming in. So it was kind of like, it felt safe to have something, some income coming in weekly. The only problem is that obviously never spend 20 hours working on a client. Like because they pay you weekly, they think you're part of their company and you should be doing the work like 10 times more, and you should be working like 24/7 pretty much.
And if there's ever any possibility that you could be working on their work, you should be working on their work. And
exactly, everything has to be like their stuff is a priority always. Like I would get requests for a poster at 3 p.m. on a Friday for a party on the Saturday. So like it's either that or you're fired. So it's like, okay. And then like I would get phone calls on a Saturday saying, oh, can you make changes to this banner and change the price of this I'm like, it's Saturday, like, but that's how
No.
you learn. Like, I was still young and I needed the money, of course. So I was like doing as much work as possible. And I was like taking all of the jobs because I was thinking I need more money. So
Yeah. And like when you go freelance after you've been in an employed thing, the mentality is unless I make the same amount that I made when I was employed, I'm failing. I'm out.
yes,
And so that means that I have this kind of scarcity mindset that I'm like, oh
yeah,
my God, can I design something for you? I'll just like charge you,
yeah,
you know, 2/3 of my worth because that's all I'm comfortable charging.
yeah. No, definitely. I felt like I had to say yes to every single graphic design job. I was
Yeah.
doing logos even for like friends, and I like tried online websites and never do a logo for a friend, by the way, or like family, a cousin. No. But
We
yeah, I
love
was
them,
doing
but we love them enough to say no.
yes. It's for them. It's for the best.
Yeah.
But yeah, I tried to do as much as possible. I was billing at an hourly rate. That obviously didn't work over the years, so I changed to pricing per project, which I still do to this day. So I still kind of do get a couple of client jobs. Obviously, now I can select the ones I want to work for. So I would only work for the ones that interest me and that would pay enough. So I price per project. I kind of try and get as much information as possible from the client so I know exactly what they want. I always do now a mood board so I know exactly what they're after, if that's exactly what they want. And then I try and estimate how many hours I'm going to spend on it, add a bit more, and then add GST as well. So that's, you round up, you find nice price, and then you give that to the client. If they say yes, that's good, and you kind of can create a kind of a contract where you say, okay, I'm going to create this following this brief, and then I think it's very important. You should specify how many changes you're going to make for the client. So if it's 2 rounds of changes included, and also that shouldn't be a concept change. So if they have a completely different idea, then that's not considered a change. It's like a completely new project, so it's another price again. So I always give the price for 2 changes included, and then if they have extra changes, I always specify on the invoice these extra changes are going to be billed at an hourly rate of
an inflated hourly rate. An inflated one. Yes,
definitely. And it's an hour minimum. Like there's no change that takes 10 minutes. Like it's going to take an hour for sure. Like whatever the change, even if it's like changing a little thing, you have to make sure you give me the changes within your 2 free included changes. If it's extra, if it's outside of that, they have to pay. And usually that works. Obviously there's always like instances where there's more changes. The client is not actually no, the client is always happy. I was going to say if the client isn't happy, but I feel like I try so hard to make my clients happy and they always are happy, so that's good.
But it's a really great spot to be in, that you've got like clients coming back or clients referring you to their friends, because a lot of the time the good clients, when they refer you to other people, those people end up being really good clients as well. 90% of the time. Sometimes it's like, why didn't you why did you send me to this person? I've actually ended up, the clients that I like working with, I've almost, I won't say trained them because we train each other constantly, but I've said to them, if you recommend me to someone, I want you to use these words: she's expensive but worth it. And so it kind of sets up that expectation of being like, she's going to charge you a lot, but she's going to be worth it. So I don't have to have that conversation of like, actually I'm a lot more expensive than you need.
Yeah.
So
it's good to be known like that, because that's how it should be. Like it should be expensive, but if it is expensive, usually means it's going to be done well, and you won't have that many changes. So down the track, it's actually cheaper than hiring someone who's cheap and like that might not do exactly what you want. So
it's a little bit of a weird analogy, or a weird crossover that I kind of sometimes liken it to, is that you wouldn't pay for a cheap plastic surgeon. Like you wouldn't sit there and be like, oh my goodness, I'm going to get a nose job for $50. This is great.
Exactly.
Because you're going to be sad and disappointed about the big schnoz you've got on your nose now. And to me, that's the equivalent of a brand mark or a logo is the center of your nose, because it's the first thing that someone sees.
Exactly.
The first thing that comes up at them. And so you're not going to pay a cheap rate for a plastic surgeon who's going to be working on the first thing that they see about you. So why would you pay or be comfortable with a cheap rate from a designer who's going to design the logo that's going to hit the people first?
Yeah. You're supposed to keep a logo forever. So that cannot be cheap. Like
you're supposed to keep a nose forever.
Yes.
So what's the best lesson that you've learned when it comes to pricing? Whether that be a learning from experience or being told from someone, when it comes to pricing, do this. What's your best lesson?
So definitely I've learned from experience. Always ask for a deposit. Just simple. Yeah, everybody should know that. Everybody should do deposit. Like I always do 50% deposit upfront, no matter the price, because usually if it's a more expensive project, it's probably because there's more work involved. So I would need to get paid straight away for half.
And to cover yourself.
Huh?
And to cover yourself as well. Like,
yeah, exactly. Because it might be that even sometimes it's not even you or anything. It's just a client that changed their mind and that actually, no, I don't need this logo anymore. And you've done the work. It's like, well,
the
still need to pay for the
work.
Work.
Need everything.
Yeah. And because I work with a lot of clients overseas, so most of my clients are actually not in Australia. And so I can't even, like, if they don't pay me, like, I can't go and chase them for the money. So it's like, if you want to work with me remotely, you pay me 50% deposit upfront, and it's non-refundable. So obviously you have to like list that in your contract. But usually it's people, if they want work from you, they will pay the deposit. If they don't want to pay for the deposit, means they're
probably not the client for you.
So yeah, it's just as simple as that. If they don't pay for a deposit, you just don't do the work for them. That's all.
I think mine has been like, listen to your gut. Like if you are unsure, listen to your gut and try and work out if the reason why you're unsure at any stage of it. So say for instance, you're trying to come up with concepts for something and they go, and you're sitting there going, I don't know, I don't have an answer. I don't know why I don't have an answer. Am I just not creative anymore? Have I lost my creative spark? I don't have an answer. But a lot of the time is it because you don't have enough information? Like asking yourself, am I unsure because I don't have enough information? Because I haven't asked as many questions as possible. I haven't interrogated them with like a dark room and a single light, just going like, what do you want? And so a lot of the time, like I have to stop myself and go, well, can you not work this out because you don't have enough information? So don't be scared to ask more questions, because it's very likely that the client either has the answers to those questions and hasn't given them to you, or can explain it a bit better in a different way. And they want you to succeed. They want you to do good work. So asking more questions is probably in your best interest.
Exactly. Yeah. Like you said, it's most of the time like a gut feeling. You know if you should be working with the person or not. But I would never recommend. Sorry,
I've ignored them and it's been disastrous. Like the clients that you look back on and you're like, oh, like that feeling. It's because I didn't listen to my gut at the start of it, and I took on the work, and then I lost money. Or
if it starts in on the wrong foot, usually and I feel like it should be like you should have a really good relationship with your client. Like it should be a good connection. You should feel connected to the project as well. Like if you feel like this work is not going to be representative of your work, you don't really enjoy what you're going to create, or if the client doesn't really know what they want, or whenever they kind of ask you for something that's really not your style, they're like, oh, I've seen this, can you do this? I'm like, well, have you seen my Instagram? Like, it's not totally what my style is, but
why did you hire me?
So I think again, it's a gut feeling, and usually if you have a good connection, the client pays for the deposit, it usually works most of the time. And if they know upfront that your price is not cheap, they will come to you and still ask and pay for deposit. Means it's gonna end up, like most of the time, being a good a job. And also,
sure.
like before I ever send final files, I always ask for the remaining of the payment as well. So another thing that kind of just protects you, and also I feel like the client feels like there's more work involved, because like they have to pay you for the deposit, because otherwise you can't prepare the final files and kind of send them the link, and they feel like it is more work involved. So if I want my final print file, I ask for the deposit, the remaining of the deposit, before I get sent the final print file. So which I think really makes sense, and I've never like had any issue doing that method, and it worked really well. I only had issues when I didn't do it, which I've learned from experience. I've had clients not paying me, that have still owe me money to this day. Because
it's just part of it, unfortunately.
Because I said yes, even when I thought it was not the right fit with a client. I did the work when they said they would pay me later. Never do that. And I said yes for like extra work that I haven't been paid before, and I did more. And I said yes to too many things, thinking, okay, I need the job, they will pay me later, and I needed the money. And like, don't think that doing more work will get you more money. It's actually when you set more boundaries, more limits, and say to the client, look, I'm happy to do that for you, but you pay me first. And you'll see that the client will respect that. Like, there's nothing wrong with you paying your bills. Like, they go to the supermarket and pay for their food before they actually get it. Like, it's just normal.
Standard.
And
and there's so much power in being able to say to a client or a potential client, this is standard, this is what everyone else is doing. Like, it's a standard practice to ask for a deposit, standard practice to ask for the remainder before the end. Like, these are standard business practices that other designers do. And if there's anything that I have like seen quite often with clients, especially the ones who are a bit unsure about that, is, you know, they sit there and they go, oh, well, if everyone else is doing it, then I should probably too.
And that's a common practice for everyone. I mean, like, that's how other businesses work most of the time as well. Like,
exactly. So when you are taking on new work, do you kind of have a set of questions that you ask, or like asking yourself in the, like, should I take this on? Is it this? Is it that? So what kind of checklist, whether internal or external, do you go through?
Yeah, so I definitely have like a checklist of questions for myself, and then the questions that I give to the clients. But I would say I would ask myself first, do I really want to work for this job? Is this representative of my style? Am I going to enjoy working on it? Do I have the time? Is it going to pay well? And just asking this type of question. Do I really want to take the job? And what is it going to bring me? Like, is it going to bring me just money, or is it going to help me get better at my style? Or is it really like good for my personal practice or not? And it's something that it's very, very difficult to say no sometimes, like, because I've been there. I've been the one saying yes to every client work possible. But it's crazy how it works. Like, if you say no to most of the cheap job that you don't really want to do, you will get that one job that is the one, and that pays like 3 times more than all of those like smaller jobs combined together. So you would spend like way less time tiring yourself up, trying to like please all those different clients, and when like you would just spend the same amount of time just working on one project, making the same amount of money doing a project that you love. So get to work in the morning, happy to do what you love. But it's extremely difficult. I completely understand that it feels like you always have to say yes to everything at the start, particularly when you're starting out and you're freelancing and you need to pay your bills, and you're like, oh, yeah, I should take this.
It's like when you said yes
job.
You said yes to jobs that weren't designed when you were in your teens or in your early 20s. Like I personally, myself, I worked in the family butcher shop for a couple of years. I worked as a barista for 4 years. And I did like a range of jobs that weren't designed, that weren't specifically what I wanted to do. And it's kind of like you do the stuff that helps you develop into the person that you're trying to be, or the designer that you're trying to be.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was actually reminded yesterday, my mum went and picked up a desk from a place that I actually used to work back in Adelaide. And I remember why I left. I left there because they said to me, this is where designers come when they're sick of being creative. And that's just heartbreaking. Like that, that's a real, you know, it's all well and good to say, you know, you want to see the things that you're wanting to work towards and see them as examples of stuff you want to work towards. But you're also just as influenced by the stuff that repels you. Like you don't want to be sad in your job. You don't want to be disappointed in your job or unhappy in your day to day. So why would you put yourself through it?
And I feel like the more you say yes to everything, the more chances you have of like not enjoying what you do anymore. And I was there, like I feel like during COVID, when I kind of lost a lot of clients because of COVID, everything was closing down, and I had clients not paying me, and I was struggling, to be honest. And I was like, I don't even know if I want to be a designer anymore. So it's crazy. Like it's what I love the most. And that's why I kind of started doing other things on the side and get really more comfortable with like making multiple income from different places. And that's how you can start saying no to clients. So I feel like if you have the safety of having small incomes coming from different places, even if it's not much, you just need like enough to kind of be able to say no to more work. So that's why I started selling digital resources, online courses. I also teach at Griffith University, which really helps. Doing all of those things, doing all those things really, like, that's what made it possible for me to say no to clients' work that I didn't want to work for. But it was to be honest, it was a difficult transition. It doesn't happen overnight, that's for sure. You'll probably still be doing work that you wish you didn't have to. But trying to diversify your income really helps as well.
Yeah, and I think there's validity in diversification of your income in different ways. So it might be like yourself and having a diversified income with selling products and teaching courses and doing these other little bits and pieces, or diversification in the way that you price. So I think that, you know, you don't have to have the same, like, just like you were saying earlier, you had some that you were on projects, some that you were doing retainers. And so having those different pockets that all kind of come in at different times really helps with that feast or famine feeling that so many designers feel. So many freelancers are just like, I don't want to go freelance because I'm scared I'm going to just, that's it. Like,
you're always scared that it's going to do this, and it will. So that's why I always try, because I run a freelance business, I always try to have a minimum money on the business account. Like, it's like I always try to have the same amount and never go down below that line. Almost like savings, but that you never use. And I feel like it's really helped my business as well. Just for like peace of mind as well. It's like when you have just enough to pay all your bills and pay your salary as a business, it's kind of scary. So you always need to have just extra, just in case. And something that you can definitely build over time by doing different type of client work, by selling you up online as well. Like you can sell stuff, you can do affiliate links and kind of try and advertise for other people. So even if you don't sell anything yourself, you can sell for others and kind of make some income with that. You could do like YouTube videos and get AdSense and things like that. So there's so many ways to like kind of get money in, and that money, even if it's very little, it will still make you feel a lot more safe. And that way, with that peace of mind, you'll be able to say, oh no, I'm not going to say yes to this particular job. Because if you didn't have that money, those savings, you would probably have said yes. And which is what I did in the past. Like I've done that so many times. And yeah, like I said, I still have like overdue money and clients that like really never heard of anymore. So it's like, yeah.
I had one pop up after 3 years the other day. And I'm like, where have you been hiding? Money. Hi. Yeah. But I feel like having these different ways, like the affiliate links or selling your resources or anything like that, it kind of creates this cushion that it kind of sits at the bottom. And whilst you're riding the roller coaster of freelance, it's naturally going to happen. Instead of hitting rock bottom, you're hitting it and it's bouncing off.
That's exactly what I mean.
Yeah, exactly.
Because there's always going to be that roller coaster. Like that's how it works. Like one day you have a job that's massive, and then for 3 weeks you have nothing, which is normal. Like it's how it works. But because you're by yourself, it's a small business. If you're freelancing, like you need that, like you said, that cushion just in case.
Yeah. And I feel like when I do get those jobs that are a little bit bigger and a little bit more lucrative, the first thing I think is, okay, now I have more time to like say in the future, okay, sorry, I'm not available until June. I'm not available until July. And that might not mean that I'm booked up. It'll mean that because I've made $3,000 here, I can now spend the next 3 weeks after I've finished that job, obviously, doing something else, doing something that I love, or pursuing, like I might use that time for outreach. Like I want to go and do a whole bunch of murals. So I might use that time to put into my business. It's about saying no to the clients that you don't want, or setting the boundary of just like, I'm sorry, I'm not available till this time. You shall not pass until this time.
I am closed, not open.
I am closed for now. Come back after.
But yeah, definitely when you have that money, that's when you can say no, and you can work on your own business, which is so important as well. And if you work like every day, if you work on an hourly rate and try and smash as much work as possible, you never have time for like personal stuff, like business stuff, and like posting your work, developing your portfolio, and reaching out to more clients. So at the end of the day, like that $200 job that you took is actually costing you money, because you could spend this time working on some advertising for your business or reaching out to better clients, and that is worth.
Or building a course that you could then keep selling. That's evergreen.
Yeah.
Definitely. So you talked a little bit about Procreate and your brushes and your courses. I was first introduced to you and your work through Typism, both from the conference, but also when I came over there for my first Typism conference.
What year?
The year before that. So it was the year that
2017.
I think so.
Or 2018.
2018. Might have been 2018, I think.
Yeah.
I didn't come to the first couple, which I didn't know about them. So it was...
I've been to all of them.
Of course you have. Of course you have.
Well, I'm on the Gold Coast, so it's easy.
Yeah, exactly. And
I have no excuse.
You kind of got like the rubbing shoulders with Dominique. So it kind of works out nicely. And so... I actually remember when I first met you, and it's quite funny that I actually do remember when I first met you. It was in one of the workshops, and you've got all these people that are, they've found their space with people that like type, and they're drawing and they're watching each other and they're getting all excited, and you are there and you are concentrating and you are drawing and you are creating this most beautiful piece. And it was like a humble, quiet, incredible skill in that moment of just like watching it. And I'm like, oh yeah, she's someone that's come to the workshop to learn. And no, she should be teaching. She's not here to learn. She's here to just show us all up. It's fine. I'm pretty sure it was one of the mural ones or something like that.
Wasn't it Ryan Hemrick?
Probably was Ryan Hemrick's out in the class. So, you know, I'm there drawing my piece, which I remember says my lovely lady lumps, and drawing the flourishes and everything. And I look over and I'm just like, oh, damn. Oh, wow. Like, and in that kind of space, in that kind of area, you kind of have to go, okay, these aren't my competition clients. These are my community to learn from. Yes. And I will be the first to admit that I have definitely reached out to you and to learn from you, both by example and by questions, especially in the thing that I am venturing into at the moment. But watching also you upskill in Procreate and Procreate resources and classes, it's been really enjoyable to see that grow. Why? So I'm guessing that it's okay, I've learnt this skill, now I'll throw the hand back and pull someone else in to try and go, okay, here's how you do this, here's how to teach this, here's how to use these brushes. Why did you choose Procreate and choose this as an avenue?
Well, because it's super trendy at the moment, to be honest. I honestly, I love it. I just love Procreate, and I feel like I'm not the only one. So, and it's working. Everybody's using it, and I'm like, yeah, why not? So I'm pretty aware that what I'm teaching is on Procreate only, which is kind of a shame because, like, you never know. In 5 years, Procreate might not be a thing anymore. We never know. But
touch wood.
All of the skills that I'm actually developing on the iPad are skills that can be taken to any type of media, so traditional media or even Photoshop, Illustrator, all of that. So it's
or
never
thread or fabric.
Yeah, like, yeah. Anyway, but yeah, I've always loved learning. Like, it's something every day I have to learn something. It's so strange, but yeah, I just love learning. That's why I go to all of those workshops. And when you saw me, I was probably like working really hard. And
I just saw the top of your head.
I'm like, usually when I'm learning, I'm like, I have this, like, I think I do something with my face as well. I'm like concentrating so hard that I'm like, nothing, like,
it's resting, learning.
The world could be ending as I'm so focused. But I'm the same with anything, like, same with pole dancing, and like I said, I'm learning surfing, and I get so focused on like learning new things, and I just love the idea of learning. That's why I've learned so much over the years about typography and like trying new things. Like, I just love trying new things and learning. And I feel like teaching also helps you learn more. It's quite interesting, but a lot of the time, like, I'm learning through teaching. Like, it's strange. So that's why I also love teaching, because like, it's like you discover new things, and you discover
for sure
how the process works, and you kind of figure out, oh, this is kind of making sense because of this, and everything is kind of linked as well, like with typography. And I really love drawing. I love illustrations. I love typography, hand lettering. So everything combined together. There's a lot of techniques that I love to like experiment with, and sharing it really makes it more understandable to me as well. So it helps me even process it better. I don't know.
For sure.
But
yeah, no, definitely. I think the one thing that, I, overthought my purchase of my iPad and Procreate. I overthought it for a good 3 to 6 months. Like, I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to use it. I'm not sure if it's going to be the thing for me. I don't know, maybe. And the week that I got it, I was like, oh my God, I'm obsessed. Like, I just...
It's so funny you say that.
Because I found that, and I found that the one thing, the thing that it solved for me was that when I have the creative process on something that's physical, I'm scared that I'm going to stuff it up. And there'll be like there's no undo. Like you tap in the screen, tap in the piece of paper and you're like, oh, it's not undoing. So it took away that fear of I'm going to fail, whereas I can fix, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. I was the same. Like I was like, do I really need an iPad? Because I was a fan of Illustrator before that. I was Illustrator everything, like vector typefaces, logo types and things like that.
Amazing.
So I was like, do I really need an iPad? They don't even do vectors in Procreate. That was me. And then I went to typism, I think in 2017, and then I saw I can't remember which artist it was, like which lettering artist, but I saw what they did and I was like, no, I need an iPad. Yeah. And then I got one and I like never looked back. I love it. Love my iPad. It's just, yeah, like you said, it feels easy. It's like you can grab your iPad anywhere, anytime. You can start drawing. You have an idea, you just draw. And there's so many things you can do. Like you can do pretty much anything. Like anything you have in mind, you can draw it. And it's so easy to like work with the brushes as well, like to create hand lettering, and the sensitive, the pressure sensitive Apple Pencil makes it like so easy and so nice.
Completely changed the way I work. Completely. Same. Because like, I mean, I've even applied it to jobs where I've been having to do a video or create video content and sketching up storyboards in Procreate and just being able to go or even just being able to animate it slightly so that the client can actually understand. Like it's completely changed.
It's
completely changed the way.
No, and for like $15, I mean, what?
And then I bought the one on the phone as well, just so that I can actually be like, if I'm writing a post, I get really annoyed because I want it to be brand specific and I want it to be my fonts and I want it to be my colors. So I've ended up building stuff on Procreate Pocket and then sending it off and thinking,
that's a good idea. Never thought of doing that. But
especially when you make a spelling mistake in a post, and just before you go to post it, you notice it. So you go into Procreate Pocket and you like edit it and then send it back off.
Cheating.
Not that I did that recently at all.
Who did that? Not me.
So how many packs of brushes do you have now? Because I know you've got a couple of classes and you've got a couple of brushes, but you've got 4.
So I have 4 sets of brushes. So I have the 3D letters toolkit, the chalk lettering toolkit, retro sign toolkit, and since today I have the textile lettering toolkit, which is my favorite.
I love it. I'm so excited to get it.
I've spent hours just because all of the textures, they're all made by me. So I've taken photos of every single textile in my house. So there's like my couch, there's some pillows. I had some fabrics that I bought for like costumes and things like that. So I took photos of that, of like rhinestones and all of my stuff. Like it was so much fun. And I have a texture of my cat. So because I made a fur.
What did you call it? We need to know. What did you call it?
It's called faux fur. So it's like fake fur.
But it's real fur.
Real fur. It's my cat.
Oh my god!
I thought that was funny, but
that.
It was the best fur I could find because I was taking photo of actual faux fur because I wanted to create that texture. It didn't work. It was just too like faint. It wasn't what I wanted. It was just messy. So my cat, I was like, that would do.
Well, that was the thing. Like, it's what a lot of people do. Like those who create brushes.
Yeah, that's what
Jimbo actually does that as well.
Yeah,
Jimbo. One of his, I don't know if I think it's called On the Road. So his On the Road brush pack is legitimately from him going around Europe and taking photos and inspiration of textures around Europe. So, you know, as designers, we create what we know. I mean, if you know your cat. Awesome.
It's funny.
You're going to have to make a dog hair brush now.
Yes, you should. It's funny because now, like, everywhere I go, I kind of look at bricks on the wall. I'm like, oh, that could be a nice texture.
Yeah.
I'm weird or
I'm the same. Like but with my stuff is I'm going, oh, that's a good analogy for pricing. Oh, that's a good way to look at hourly rate. Oh, that's a good way. Like, it just, when you are inspired and passionate about something, it completely encompasses your psyche.
Exactly.
Completely. Which, you know, it's a great indicator that you're on the right track.
Yes. It means you're doing what you love, and I think that's the most important. Like, you have to do what you enjoy. And that's the only way you should be making money, I feel like. If you don't really enjoy what you're doing, it's just going to make it a lot harder to make any money. But if you're doing something that you're passionate about, it makes the whole process a lot easier. And I feel like you would make way more money trying to like work hard every day on something that you love, rather than trying to work hard on something that you don't really enjoy that much.
And I actually feel like, yes, there's you're going to make more money doing what you love, but it's also that you're going to be happier. Like, I have pivoted into this whole pricing realm, trying to help designers be comfortable with those conversations and give themselves permission to actually charge more and charge their worth and be more valuable to themselves in their own design businesses. And it's something that I'm really passionate about because, you know, I have definitely been in those positions where I'm like, oh, I feel like I'm being undervalued, or I don't feel like I'm charging my worth. Yeah. And I just needed permission from someone to say, no, you should be charging this much. Like, just go and do it. Just go and do it. Yeah. And it's that feeling of like, okay, I'm passionate about this. I'm feeling like it's purposeful work. It's for a purpose. Yes. I feel like that's what you've been doing as well, because you're equipping people and students with the resources and the teachings to be able to create the things that they dream up in their head but can't get it out.
Totally. Yeah, I get so much more reward from teaching and helping other designers, because all of these years I was just trying to please my clients when literally they didn't really want expensive graphic design work. They wanted the cheapest work possible done yesterday, and they didn't really need that, like, a good quality artwork, as long as it does the job. Yeah. Like, they don't really care if it's like high-end quality graphic design or just like graphic design that you can find on like stock websites. So I feel like I get way more value out of teaching and sharing my knowledge and doing what I love. It's so much more rewarding, that's for sure.
Yeah, most definitely. Like, I personally am kind of still sitting on the center of like still a client serving design superwoman, but I'm also trying to educate and help develop designers into pricing more. So I'm kind of feeling very stretched between the two, and I don't think that I'll ever choose just one.
No.
And that's
you don't need to.
So if you could go back to, say, at the start of your freelance career, so 7 years ago, and to young Aurelie, and tell her something about pricing, what would you tell her? Other than get the deposit.
Get the deposit, write everything down on a contract, never send files before they have paid the total amount of the invoice. Don't rely on just one client, because I had one good client that was always giving me a lot of work. So I wasn't really just like trying to find new clients outside of this particular client. So never just rely on one source of income.
Been there.
Yeah. So do all of that. Identify your outcome as much as possible, your income, as much as possible. I mean, there's nothing wrong with trying a lot of things, and if something doesn't work, it's totally okay. But I feel like really trying to have as much money coming in from different places as possible really, really makes a difference. Even if it's not much, like even if it's like $200 a month, it really makes a big difference down the track, just having this like small money coming in. Particularly when
small acts over time,
small
increase.
Business.
Yeah, most definitely. I feel like we're so conscious of that, like, we have to be doing this. No, you can be whatever it ends up being. Like, you know, even if you are a designer but you know that you do 1 day a week down at the cafe, it doesn't mean that you're failing as a designer. You still have that small little bit of income that is kind of cushioning that bottom.
Yeah. If it can make you feel better and like give you that money, that cushion that we talked about earlier, and help you say no, because you don't want to go down that road where you say yes to everything. Like, so even if it's not graphic design, like, it could be doing something totally different. I also like teach pole dancing sometimes as well, so it's like some extra revenue as well. But doing a lot of different things really helps you say no, and I think that's definitely the advice that I would give myself. Don't hesitate to say no. It's better to say no to 10 people that were gonna pay you nothing at all, and say yes to just one big client.
Yeah, for sure. I actually used to do it that I would have my I'd do 6 months of yes and 6 months of no. So for 6 months, I would say yes to all these different things that I had never tried before, or jobs that I'd never tried before. And then 6 months of saying no to the stuff that I discovered I hated. Yeah. So, you know, it ends up then balancing you out. And so you're not trying new things and then going, oh, well, now I've just kind of put myself into a corner. You're trying lots of different things and then going, okay, I hated that, like that, you can stay. And trying to work out kind of where you're going. That's what I've personally done anyway.
Yeah. It takes experience. It takes trial and error. But if you keep that in mind, don't say yes to everything. Only say yes to the job that will give you something back and that you enjoy and that pays what you're worth and what you want. And if you do that, you should be good.
Yeah, but that's the theory. That's what we're working towards, because we know that it's not going to happen all of the time. But yeah, I love that. Yes. Well, thank you so much for jumping on here today with me, Aurelie.
No problem.
Just to reiterate, today your textile toolkit, correct?
Textile lettering toolkit, yes.
The textile lettering toolkit has been released. If you aren't on her mailing list, you need to get on her mailing list. But you also need to head to Aurelie's Instagram, or I've also will be in the Instagram TV. I will be putting in her links about her courses and her brushes. And I highly recommend like setting aside at least an hour just to get lost in all of her reels and just sit there and just be like, oh, this is calming and watching. It's great.
It's funny because reels is just like, it's the best part. Like, it's not. It's just like, it looks so easy. Highlight. It's like, oh, perfectly done. But there's like so much work behind it, like so much like trial, error.
Just like you just throwing stuff across the room.
Yes. No! I hate it.
Have to stay hard.
And then on Instagram, it's like, yeah.
They don't see you chasing your cat around the lounge room like 5 times just to get a good photo of the throw.
Yeah. And he was sleeping when I got the photo for that picture. Otherwise, it would be possible.
If you enjoyed this chat about pricing and creative, charging for your creative work, jump over to easyasPiePricing.com and download your freebie. I highly recommend that you get on the mailing list ASAP, because there's maybe a big announcement happening possibly next week. So jump on the mailing list, download your downloadables. Also head to Aurelie's Instagram and get all of her brushes. Enjoy your weekend. Have a great weekend, Aurelie. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for
if you're watching in the future, hi future you. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you. Bye.